David Smith here with another Flipped Classroom math video. A few tips before we get started. Remember, you can always pause the video to make extra notes or write down questions for when we meet in class. Also, remember to pause the video when I provide an example. Work that problem, then start the video up again and see how well you did. You can also turn on the captions so you can see my words written below on the screen. You can also speed up or slow down the video if you wish. Remember to think hard, follow along, and bring your best brain to the next time we have class. Today's topic, quadratic functions. We're going to introduce some new notation and then we're going to do some solving. So remember from before, a quadratic equation or function is ax squared plus bx plus c. Here's some new notation. Now we're going to say f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. This is function notation. It really just means y, but it's another way that we talk about it. So instead of equations, we're going to start talking about functions as well. Okay? So our first step in this particular activity is to find y when you're given a value for x. So this is a real straightforward plug-in. Here's my function, y equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 5. I could also write this, f of x equals that. Okay? So now we're going to find y. Oh, I could write f of x because that's y. So find f of x when x itself equals 0. So here's my function. Here's my request from the book, say. So when x is 0, what we're going to do is we're just going to plug 0 in for x. And you probably see where this is going. 0 squared is 0. 4 times 0 is 0. So this is just minus 5. So what this means is that when the value of x is 0, y, or f of x, will be negative 5. So I want you to pause the video and try to find y, or f of x, when x is 3. Okay, let's do it. Now I'm going to plug 3 in for x. 2 times 3 squared plus 4 times 3 minus 5. 3 squared is 9, times 2 is 18, plus 4 times 3 is 12, minus 5. 18 and 12 are 30, minus 5 is 25. Okay, so what that means is that when x takes the value of 3, y, or f of x, is going to be 25. Often we'll use tables of values, so we could write this. So when x is 0, f of x is minus 5. When x is 3, f of x is 25. This little tabulation method will come in handy when we start graphing these functions. Okay, this next one's a little bit more tricky. Instead of giving you x first and having you run that through the function to get y, now we're going to tell you what y is, and you're going to have to find out x. Oh yes, and our new notation, I can just write given f of x. Now here's my function, and I can also put f of x over there. So f of x equals x squared minus 6x plus 8. So there's my function. Again, new vocabulary. It's an equation, but it's actually more accurately called a function. Find x when y is 15. So this is a little bit more tricky. So, oh, and by the way, we can do this too. When f of x equals 15. Okay, so f of x is 15. So that's what we're going to write. We're going to write here. 15 equals x squared minus 6x plus 8. Now remember, when we solve quadratic equations, we have to move the constant, if it's on the other side, and set the whole thing equal to 0. So this is going to be 0 equals x squared minus 6x. Negative 15 plus 8 is going to be minus 7. So two numbers that multiply to negative 7 but add up to negative 6. So that's going to be negative 7 and positive 1. 0 equals x squared, not x squared, x minus 7 times x plus 1. Again, minus 7 times 1 gives me negative 7. Minus 7 plus 1 gives me negative 6. So my solutions now are x equals 7 and x equals negative 1. So what this means is that if f of x, which remember is y, if that equals 15, then we have two possible solutions for x. X can either be 7 or negative 1. You can test this just by plugging in this value into the two spots there. Doing your math, it should show you 15. Same thing with negative 1. Okay, I'd like you to try one. When f of x, or y, equals negative 1, find x. Pause the video, see if you can get through that. Okay, let's set it up. Negative 1 equals x squared minus 6x plus 8. Move the constant over. 0 equals x squared minus 6x plus 9. Now, if you want to pause the video here and see if you can finish, please do that. I'm going to keep going. Two numbers that multiply to positive 9 that add to negative 3. This one's going to be simple. This is a perfect square. This is going to be x minus 3 squared. That's a perfect square. It reduces down to that. Now we can solve. Take the square root of both sides. Guess what? Square root of 0, still 0. So 0 is x minus 3. Add a 3 to both sides, and we get x equals 3. So 3 is the one number that solves this equation to make f of x equal to negative 1. If you still have questions, write them down now and bring them to our next class. You can also watch the video again and perfect your notes. Finally, if you enjoyed watching my video, please click the like button down below. And if you'd like to help me grow my YouTube channel, please click subscribe.